Have you thought about starting a small farm and are curious what the day-to-day operations are like? Well, follow along with me today as I have cows, pigs, chickens, and some sheep that all need taken care of while doing some other things. First off though, we need to feed our pigs. So we've got our bucket here with their feed in it. We're gonna go run those out to them. While we're out there, I've also got some grass seed that I need to get planted. It's a mixture of ryegrass and forage oats that I'm gonna put in where they were at in their previous area. Right now, unfortunately, I don't have a four-wheeler or a side-by-side, so we're gonna use the truck to get as close as we can, and then we're gonna haul it the rest of the way in. So follow along with me today as we do our farm chores. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a video before I fed the pigs because they were making so much noise you wouldn't have been able to hear me. They've definitely quieted down now. As you can see, they're getting some food there. These pigs have been in here for about 3 weeks. I believe I'm going to try to get them moved this weekend if I have enough time. But right now, I take about half a bucket twice a day and I'm feeding them. It just continuously goes up, so that's something to think about if you're in the idea phase of getting pigs. Remember that you have to have a way to get the feed to them. So if you're somebody has a hard time getting around and you can't carry a whole lot of weight, you're definitely going to need to make the wherever you store the feed very close to where you have the pigs, because it takes quite a bit of feed for them. Fortunately, I'm able to drive my truck relatively close. It's about 50 yards. It isn't that bad this time of year. If it was winter time, it would not be fun to have to try to walk down this hill with snow and ice on, but right now it's pretty doable. So that's another thing to think about. Eventually, I'd like to get a side-by-side or a four-wheeler to try to eliminate that, but right now we don't have the type of money to do that, so we have to do what we can to make ends meet. Like I said, these pigs have been in here for about 3 weeks. They've done a ton of clearing. If you haven't checked out any of my other previous videos, go back and look at the video when I put these pigs in here. You can see the difference in the multiflora rows and all the bushes that were around this. Yes, there's still some up higher, but they have really cleared out the small stuff, which that is the idea behind why we have the pigs. We want to turn this into silvopasture. You can see in front of me here, we've got some pretty good grass growing. Eventually what we want to do is we want to plant the same grass back in here, and that way we can take our grazers, our sheep and our cows through here, and they'll have something to eat while also getting some shade. In the meantime, we're using the pigs to clear this out, and it saves me a lot of labor of having to do all of the manual stuff myself. So that's why we have the pigs. Plus we like pork, so we figured it'd be a good way to make a little money and have them clear out some land for us. Let's also check the water while we're down here. Before we hop over the fence here and check on their water, here's a better view of what they've been able to do for me. Go back, like I said, on the channel, I have previous videos showing when I put these animals in here and after they'd been in here for about a week and a half compared to what they've done so far. Now, at 3 weeks, they have done a ton of work as far as rooting up the soil and clearing out the brush to get it ready to be planted. So once I move these animals off here, I'll plant some sort of cover crop. I'll probably do the same thing that I have today to put out, which is a combination of ryegrass, forage oats. I'll probably throw some clovers in there too. It's absolutely amazing how quickly these animals can take care of brush. So if you have an overgrown area and you need to get it cleared out, I would definitely consider using pigs. Also, this is what we use to water the pigs with. It's just a 55-gallon plastic barrel, and we have 2 nipples on this one. And there we are. We've got some water in there still, so they're good on this one. I believe the other one probably is getting pretty low. If you're interested in making one of these waterers, check out that video also on the channel. It's pretty simple. You just take the nipple, drill a hole in it, make sure it's tight on there, fill it up with water, and there you are. You also have to cut the top off these plastic barrels, but minimal effort to be able to get a pig water. I'm also going to be looking into building a pig feeder, so if anybody has some suggestions on how to do so, please drop those in the comments for me. Now that we have the pigs fed, it's time to get up here and plant this cover crop, and then we can get back to the house and get some more work done. All right, so here we are. We have some forage oats and ryegrass. The forage oats are the bigger seed in there. Both of these are cover crops, so they're relatively cheap. I think they were about $1.25 per pound, so not bad if you compare that to the price of clover and other. So if you ever watch my videos and think, man, he sounds like he's out of breath and out of shape, I promise I'm really not that bad. It's the hills down here. If you look down there, you can see the pigs, and we're about halfway up that tree, so I would say we're probably 30-40 feet above them, climbing to the top of this hill. Everything I got around here is a hill, I swear. So this is where the pigs were before I moved them down there. So this is what we're going to plant today. And before that, I'll show you where they were. It's growing back really well. So this was all, this in here was all grass, just like this. And the brush line was growing up into it. So we put them here so it was nice and flat, and when we had to unload pigs to make sure they were nice and comfortable, could see them really well. After we moved the pigs out of this area, we planted it with a combination of purple top turnips, red clover, and I can't remember what the third thing was. I'll have to go back and look. I have it wrote down somewhere. And you can also see the orchard grass that we had in here. Some of it survived, but this is a good example. See, this here is my turnips, and then let's try to see if I can find some of the clover. I saw it a minute ago. Here's some of the clover starting to come up in here. So quite the difference here. You can see what it looked like before they were in there. And again, this video is also on the channel what this area looked like in early March when I took the pigs off of here. They had it pretty well cleared down to nothing. The ground was pretty shredded, but we were able to get that planted, and it's starting to take off now. That as it's the first week of May here in Southeast Ohio, we've really warmed up a lot. It's actually been unseasonably warm this week. It's been in the mid 80s. Right now, usually the temperature should be in the mid 70s, so we'll take it though. I'd rather have the warm weather than the cold weather, so that's why we need to get this planted. Unfortunately, again, having a small farm, I have stuff spaced out all over the place and I forget where it is. My seed spreader is clear on the other side of the farm, which we have about 70 acres that spans across the road. So it's stretched out vertically, so it makes it quite a long walk to go get it. So I'm just going to take this by hand and spread this out through here. So I'll catch up with you right after we get to finish with this. So I got those cover crops planted, so now we're back up here towards the house. Now we're gonna need to make sure the chickens are taken care of. These ladies are out here scratching around, having a good time. We're getting ready, we're in the process of building them a chicken tractor so we can make sure they're outside more often and that they're always safe. We've got some barred rocks, some Easter eggers, and some olive eggers in here. I believe the olive eggers are the yellow brownish ones, and then the dark gray ones are the Easter eggers, and the barred rocks are pretty easy to tell. There's one. They're the black and white ones. They're all pretty good chickens. They all seem to have very good temperaments. We enjoy having our chickies here. So got our egg bucket here. We'll get this filled up. Our coop is a little bit dirty right now, but not terribly so. The wood chips are definitely a good addition. They help to keep these eggs clean and to keep the girls clean. So, like I was saying earlier, you could tell we've got about 3 or 4 different color eggs in here. Pretty interesting. Honestly, until my wife had told me about this, I did not know that there was this many different colors of eggs. I thought there was only brown and white. I really didn't know that you could have blue and green and all in between. So, very interesting. And I believe it's a good way to sell some extra eggs if people have never seen those sorts of colors. So if you're in the egg business, maybe try adding some varieties, some different colors to it. So it looks like Mom beat me to the punch there, and she got the water filled up for the chickens. They were out this morning, so she went ahead and did that while I was taking care of the piggies. Here's our cows. Hi, boys. This is our 2 steers from last year. They're hanging out over here. They may need some water, so let's get this checked out for them. I believe I'm going to try to move them either today or tomorrow to fresh ground. But in the meantime, they'll probably need some water because, like I said, it's pretty hot here. They're getting pretty low. Yeah, I'll top them off. What do you boys think? You need some more water? Yeah, you're slicking off real nice, aren't you? So these 2 were bottle babies we got last year. They're growing up pretty decent so far for dairy calves. They're putting on some decent weight. They still got a lot of growing to do for us. Our other cows are hanging out over here. Here's our mama cows. How are you doing today? Say, it's hot out here. We're in the shade. Them steers haven't figured out the shade, have they? And there's our Holstein mama. Not sure where the calves are right now. I'm sure they're out there in the grass somewhere. It's hard to see them a lot of times. the grass gets taller than them. One of the last videos on the channel, I just moved these cows into here. It was a rotational grazing one. You could see just how thick that grass was. I was actually standing right there in that video. So when you first click on it, you'll be able to see how much grass there was available. That's where I was standing at. These cows have really cleaned it out, haven't you, sweetheart? No matter where you put cows, they will go to the fence line. So even when they have a ton of grass out there, they'd rather come over to the fence line and make sure it's clear, wouldn't you? Seems to be something about cow nature. But let's go get their water turned on and we'll fill that up for them. Hoping by this fall that these boys will be ready to go. I know they're pretty skinny right now, but comparison to where they were just a few weeks ago and a few months ago, they've put on quite a bit of weight. So let's hope that they'll be ready. And we're giving them premium grass to do so. My first rotational grazing video, this is where they were at. This area has been grazed when they were in here and one other time, so it's already been grazed twice this year. And here in Southeast Ohio, we're just starting our grass growing season. You can see we've got plenty in here. It's really going to come up over the next few weeks as well, especially when we start getting some rain. We've been dry the last few weeks. We had feast or famine. We had so much rain we were flooding, and then it didn't rain for 3 weeks after that. Walk back up to the house there. Got the water turned on. It's filling up right now. While that's filling up, we'll give you a tour of their paddock that they're in. So if you didn't know, we rotationally graze our cattle. We do about 98% grass fed. Occasionally I'll give them some grain. That way they are bucket trained in case they get out or I need them to go somewhere. I would like them to follow me. And with our dairy mamas, we just got them about a month ago. So it also helps because we're trying to get some more weight put on them girls. You can see they're, obviously I know they're dairy cows, but they're pretty scrawny. So I want to get some weight put on them. So I'll give them a little bit of extra grain to try to help out with that. But they do have plenty of grass. This was the previous paddock that they were in. You can tell that we left some grass, but not a ton. Got a little bit shorter in some areas like this here in front of me than what I wanted to. But this is the area that I just moved them on to. So with 4 cows and the 3 calves, the calves I'm not really counting because they just kind of nibble at the grass at this point. But with 4 cows in 4 days, they were able to clear, you can see all of that space up in there. They pretty well cleared this out. There's still a little bit left in here, so I can leave them for another day. They should be good, but if I really wanted to, I could move them on through here, and we still got plenty more grass. Makes it pretty easy to see with that line there, not only the fence line but also the line in the grass where they've been eating. For those of you that were curious, I've had quite a few comments on how often do you move your cattle, how many cattle do you have, how quickly do they eat through their grass. That's a pretty good demonstration there. You can see what they had when I moved them into that and then what they have left now after 4 days. So you've been pretty hungry, haven't you? Yeah. Well, you're doing a good job eating up the grass for us. If you're interested in that, please subscribe to the channel, as all summer now that we have good grass growing, I'll be able to show you how quickly they can take down paddocks and how I'm able to winter stockpile to reduce the amount of hay I have to feed in the winter. So I mentioned in the last video that we only use 1 wire on our electric fence for the cattle, and that means the calves can get out. Well, I found the calves. They're not with the other crew right now. They decided they wanted to chill out inside the lean-to, but that's okay because we know they'll go back to their mama. Won't you? So this is our steer. Well, he's going to be a steer. We got 2 bull calves, him and the Holstein, and then we have a heifer calf over there. They seem to have bonded pretty well. Obviously, the one of them sticks out here. So we have 2 Angus cross calves. Those are from our milk mamas, and then the Holstein bull calf. He was from a local dairy, but the cows have adopted him, and now they are nursing him just as well as they're nursing their calves. So we're thinking about maybe getting 1 or 2 more just so we can have 4 or 5 calves. But right now they're growing up good, aren't we? They've really tamed down to us as well. When we first got them, we wouldn't have been able to get this close to them, but right now they still don't love being touched, but they let me at least get close to them and hang out with us. The Holstein has been pretty friendly the whole time we've had them. So there's our calves, and I believe our water's full now, so we'll go turn that off. I frequently get asked, why would you want sheep? A lot of people are familiar with cows, pigs, and chickens and what they do and how they can contribute to a farm. But here on our farm, we love having our sheep, and I'm going to show you the reason why. Right now we're getting into grass season, so that means grazing season, but also mowing season. And right now I've been using my sheep to help me mow the yard and to keep down these areas where I have to weed eat. Obviously they don't do quite a good a job as I would if I was out here doing it myself, but they take down quite a bit. The main thing that they don't touch is the seed heads and the stems. They won't really eat that, but they'll take down quite a bit of everything else and eliminate a lot of work for me. This time they didn't get too good under here. Usually they clear that area out pretty good, but they didn't this time. I believe it's because there's so much grass growing, they have a lot of choice. So I've been using them clear back in through here. And then it also makes it easier because even if they don't take down everything, I can just run through here with either the weed eater or the mower, and then I don't have to clean up nearly as much as if they hadn't been in here. You can see this here got away from me. I haven't mowed for, close to 2 weeks now. I've been busy doing other stuff and with work, so now I'm going to have to rake this after I do so and do a lot of weed eating. So follow along with me today as I get this area cleaned up. And also we've got our chicken tractor up here. I'll give you a quick preview. We're still working on getting it put together, but once we do, we'll make a video on that and show you how we're utilizing it. So unfortunately last night I wasn't able to get all my chores done. I was able to get the yard mowed, but I wasn't able to get back through here and get this raked up or to get any of the weed eating done alongside the house there. Good morning, Charlotte. Before it started raining, and it's really never stopped right now. It's just a light misting, but hopefully I'm able to get that cleaned back up. Starting to get a lot of our flowers coming in though. I love May here in Ohio. It's a beautiful time of year. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the chores that we have to do here on our small farm. If you want to see more of this, or if you're interested in learning more about regenerative agriculture, pastured pigs, rotational grazing, any of those sorts of topics, please subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you for taking the time to watch these videos. It means a lot to me, and have a nice day.